We've done a lot of work with our History channel explaining a lot of different elements of Florida history. I've discovered from our work and from watching others that most people want to hear about haunted stuff or buried gold. I try not to use hyperbole and tell things the way they are, and I don't have a lot of buried gold stories. But I was reading today about George Canaday in Quincy that dug up a random gold bar while putting in fence posts in 1965. And that reminded me, I have to tell the world about Joe's story. Someday, somewhere up in the Panhandle, perhaps up around Quincy, I don't know, Joe's gold is buried. And they're going to find it someday, and it will be a national sensation. It will stir up national media. It will have investigators looking at it for 100 years and never figure it out if I don't tell the world. Joe was an acquaintance. I'm sure Joe has passed. He was up in years at the time that I knew him, but he was also being chased by a lot of really bad people. And Joe was the last of his clan alive. He was a commercial fisherman and drug runner from the cocaine cowboy days of South Florida. So to explain briefly, Joe, besides being a drug runner and commercial longline fisherman from Stuart, was also a spear fisherman. He had 2 wrecks that he had discovered near the beach that only he knew about, that he discovered spearfishing. He would go there after storms and recover whatever was washed out. Over time, Joe sold off all the pieces of 8 and what I would call generic gold, Spanish coins. Pieces of 8 are basically common enough that they can't be identified with a ship. Joe's conundrum, when I knew him quite a number of years ago, was he had discovered a gold medallion, and the priest on each Spanish ship had a gold medallion, as I understood it, that represented that ship. Joe, as I say, was up in years, low on funds. He was running from folks that he had dealt with in the past that were very bad people. Most of his friends had already lost their life due to violence and accidents, and drug runners from the 80s tend to not have a lot of long-lived friends. So Joe lived in the Panhandle. He questioned me and asked me for a way to help him get rid of his gold medallion because it belonged to the treasure hunter that owned the wreck. So Joe had technically stole it. He was not willing to melt it down for the gold value, and he had buried it in his yard somewhere in the Panhandle. I did not know where he lived. Still to this day don't know who he lived, and my mutual friend has since passed away, so I have no way of knowing where Joe lived. Somewhere in the Panhandle, buried his yard, is a gold medallion from one of the 2 wrecks that's off the beach of Stuart that may or may not have been discovered and reclaimed now. I don't know the answer to that. But at some point in the future, there will be an extremely rare gold medallion from a Spanish wreck from Stuart, Florida. When and if somebody finds it, it will be a national sensation. It will be a mystery. And I've solved it for you. I've told you the middle portion of it. I'll never mention Joe's last name. If he's still alive, he has a lot of people looking for him. I'm not going to leave breadcrumbs to the bad actors looking for him. So the mystery of the gold bar in Mr. Canaday's yard that he dug up in 1965 will never be solved. The mystery of Joe's gold medallion, I've told you part of the story. Whenever it's discovered, we'll all hear about it. And that's the rest of the story. That's how it got there. And it came from a wreck within 100 yards off the beach in Stuart. It belongs to a treasure hunter. We've all identified the We know the name of the treasure hunter. I'm not going to name it. I don't want to get in any more in the middle of this than I have to be. But if I don't tell the world or write it or put it on my channel, the world will never know how that gold medallion got from Stuart to the Florida Panhandle and got buried in Joe's yard. So someday I hope to see that on the news. And if so, I'll make some calls and tell folks how it got there.